AIWF TAPW fans, I'd like to bring you to another edition of Shooting Straight with the Bow, and I've actually got three guests this week. Dangerous James Black, Robert Z. Real, and my old buddy Scully. How you been doing, Scully? He did that? How many tamales did you get out of that? Well, I guess you're probably the reason why he got deported. Anyways, this past Saturday, April the 3rd, wait, before we even get started on this, as I'm shooting this video right now, it's his birthday. So this Saturday, when you come to the show, I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying it would be greatly appreciated if you brought this man some cake, some ice cream, some soda, some streamers, one of those little things that you pull it and it shoots confetti everywhere, or maybe silly string. I know that's probably gimmick infringement with the silly string and stuff, but I mean, we're gonna have a party. I mean, that's what Tennessee All Pro Wrestling is. It's a party for the fans.
Fingers.
It's
what are you gonna do with a phone number? You're ridiculous. Be serious, please. For once.
Well, he doesn't have to have fingers to dial a phone number. Some of the phones are voice controlled now. Just let him do his thing. I mean, hey, he wouldn't block you. Anyways, this past Saturday, April the 30th, we started off the night with State of Emergency taking on the Real Freaks. Now, Carnage picked you up into this press slam. I mean, you were like 15 feet in the air when he finally turned and dropped you into a power slam. And State of Emergency, they picked up the victory.
Yeah, of course. I mean, anybody with eyes could see me and old Draven. We had him on the ropes. We had him this close to victory, and of course, eye rakes, cheap tactics. But, I mean, a win's a win. Loss is a loss. That's what happens. But, we got another chance. Well, kinda. We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later. The next match, Redneck Rick came all the way from Hazard County to take on Cal Redmond. And Cal, he just hit him with the cow cutter out of nowhere and picked up the 1, 2, 3. Now this kid, Cal Redmond, he's been on quite a roll since his partner got deported. It's probably your fault.
We have no comment about that.
But ever since his partner has basically just vanished, we haven't heard from him. This kid's been on a roll. I mean, he's been making quite an impact here at Tennessee All Pro.
Yeah, he is. I've known Cal for a while. I've been keeping my eye on him. Pretty proud of how he's been performing lately.
And we might bring that up here in a little bit. The next match, Anthony Wayne took on you. And I'm not going to say it was underhanded tactics because this rivalry has been going on for almost a year. You two have bad blood.
It's back to the junior heavyweight was here when I beat him in the #1 contenders match.
I mean, you didn't even mess with the fans this past Saturday. You bolted straight for the ring and just took it right to Anthony Wayne.
Well, what can I say? I'm sick and tired of his cheap tactics after every match we faced each other. He's tried to break my arm several times.
Yeah,
and I've had enough.
And I have to say, I hand it to you. You did get dangerous this past Saturday. While the referee was down and wasn't able to see what was going on, you took the cowbell and just laid him out. Referee came back too. 1, 2, 3. You picked up the victory.
He tried to hit me with it. I cut him, made sure he couldn't get me this time.
Yeah. And I know you were knocked out. Yeah. And Anthony Wayne left before the end of the show, so you weren't aware that he actually challenged you to a match. A match that you said that you wanted for the longest time. A bull rope match.
A bull rope match.
He said in 2 weeks' time, he wants you in a bull rope match. Now, we couldn't get an answer from you because you were temporarily knocked out. Dwayne Sherrill had so much stuff going on with the rest of the show, we weren't able to get an answer from you. And since I'm Mr. Exclusive with the interviews, what's your answer to this challenge?
My answer is yes. It's going to happen. And Anthony, you better pray God's on your side because you're going to need him after I'm finished with you.
Well, you heard it, folks. Dangerous James Black has answered the challenge. And he says there will be a bull rope match here in 2 weeks. Now, we'll be getting to next week here in a few minutes. The next match, ICBB Tom North and Drake Cassidy taking on the Monsters of Mayhem, Tim Jernigan and Hammerjack, the Tennessee All-Pro Tag Team Champions. Now, there was a slight miscommunication between Tom North and Drake Cassidy. Tom North went in to set up a double team move. Monsters move out of the way. He ends up hitting his own partner. By the time he turns around, Tim gets the pin, and evidently they didn't like it too much. The New York boys did not like it. They just attacked after the match. They beat down the Monsters before they left. Now, I'm not really a fan of these ICBB guys. It seems like every time they come out, they're trying to humiliate me by making me put on sunglasses to introduce them. And I'm
Silly. It's inappropriate. There might be kids watching. He didn't do the little disclaimer at the front of the show.
This is a family show.
You gotta chill with that.
I
I
mean,
know you don't like him either, but I'm sorry.
He doesn't like ICBB either, does he?
He does not. You gotta compose
But
yourself like a professional.
I have to say, these guys have been showing a mean streak here lately. When they don't get their way, they throw a hissy fit, and they just basically beat down whoever's in their way. Now,
Sounds familiar.
we'll get to ICBB and the Monsters here in a few minutes when we start talking about next Saturday. The next match, Roxo, the third member of the Monsters of Mayhem, taking on former four-time Tennessee All-Pro Southern Heavyweight Champion Brent Powers. And Brent Powers came up with the victory to show reasons why he is a former heavyweight champion. Now, it's like Brent's working his way back up the ranks. Like he may be wanting a shot here in the future against.
I can see Brent being
Against
a five-time champion.
But yeah, Dwayne Sherrill brought up a good point this past Saturday on my intro. I do the whole four-time thing. And he's like, what if he becomes five-time champ, six-time champ, 17-time champ? I said, well, then the intros are going to get really, really long. I'm still young enough that I've got enough breath in me to hopefully get out 17-time champion.
Yeah.
But this brings us to our semi-main event, the Fans Lumberjack Strap Match. The Axis of Arrogance, Kevin James Weatherby and PS 911 taking on the Mac Attack, Gregory McDaniel and Daddy Mac. Now, it was all fun and games right there at the beginning. They're throwing Axis to the outside. They're getting whipped by the fans. Gregory's going out. Only a few fans whipped him. Daddy Mac goes out. Nobody touches him. But then, next thing I know, they got PS 911 in the corner. They got him handcuffed. And Daddy Mac goes for a high five from Gregory, and Gregory stabs him between the eyes with a fork. Gregory turned on his own father to rejoin Axis Arrogance. And
What was Gregory thinking?
they left Daddy Mac in a bloody heap. Then you and your partner, Mr. Yay Wrestling 2.0, came out to try to make the save, and even though you were injured, you showed a valiant effort. You tried to get in there and help, but you both got beat down.
Yeah.
Your partner took a trash can to the head. Daddy Mac got the coast to coast from Kevin James Weatherby. He went from that corner to that corner. I mean, I had to say, I was impressed with the leap. That was a big leap right there. I don't know too many people that could do that.
Not just Daddy Mac, but he got me with it too.
And he got you with it too. I mean, they left all three of you in a heap.
Busted me and Daddy Mac wide open again.
And then that brings us to the main event of the evening. The Tennessee All-Pro Southern Heavyweight Championship was on the line when the champion, Corey Prince, defended against the belt collector, Jeremiah Plunkett. Now, this was kind of a back and forth match. The two of them showing each other respect. And then he finds out that Corey Prince was actually a wrestler in high school. And he did the collegiate style wrestling. So he thought, well, let's give this chain wrestling a try. He can stand on his hands and knees. Corey Prince sits there and maneuvers and gets out of it. And he's like, well, let's try it the other way. So Corey Prince gets on his hands and knees. And Plunkett just drops an elbow on him, starts taking advantage of it. And now the one fan out in the crowd was yelling, cheater. Now I have to disagree. This was not cheating. It was a legal elbow drop. I mean, Sometimes the fans don't know everything. Sometimes they think they do. But it was a back and forth match. Plunkett started taking control. And then Corey Prince hits that high knee out of nowhere. Knocked out Jeremiah Plunkett for a few seconds, long enough to get the 1, 2, 3. Corey Prince defeated Plunkett, retained his title. I mean, I have to hand it to Corey Prince, because how many titles does Jeremiah Plunkett have? 2 right now?
Yeah.
He did have 3, now he's got 2. And one of them is, what is it, the NWA Southern Heavyweight Championship? I'm not really sure, because I didn't get to spend much.
Some gold.
I didn't get to spend much time in the back because I'm having to be out here with the fans and everything. But he had 2 belts, and he was coming to Tennessee All Pro to make it a 3rd.
Yes, he was.
Now he didn't get to get the title like he was wanting to. Now this is going to bring us to May 7th, this coming Saturday. It's going to be a 6-man tag elimination match. The Axis of Arrogance, Gregory McDaniel, Kevin James Weatherby, and PS 911 taking on Daddy Mac, you, and Mr. Gay Wrestling. Now, after the events of this past Saturday, I know Daddy Mac, pardon my language, Daddy Mac is pissed.
He's looking for revenge.
He's looking for revenge.
And so am I, and so is Mr. Gay.
I mean, I know you're looking for revenge too.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row, you get busted open because of these guys. The first time, they put you in a dress. Now, do you have any words for the Axis?
Axis, same thing with Anthony. You better pray God's on your side, because you got 3 pissed off guys that are ready to come for you this Saturday.
And they said that there's only one other guy they haven't busted open yet, and that's Mr. Ye.
Go with that with his mask.
I mean, Weatherby said he'd punch him in the nose, bloody his nose, bloody his mouth.
I doubt Mr. Ye will let that happen.
I mean, I'm rooting for you guys. I'm hoping you can do something with this, because personally, I'm tired of all the insults. I'm tired of their demeaning actions. Even this past Saturday when I did an interview with them, I had to put a disclaimer at the beginning, and they talked on camera for over 30 minutes, and I had to cut it down to what they saw. And if what I left in the video is that bad, can you imagine what I had to cut out? I mean, they went on to talk about all this stuff going on with the Target situation, about all the bathroom situations and all this stuff. And I wasn't going to have it on the show. And then it got to the point where they brought me back out, and they sit there and berated me and made fun of my size and all this other stuff. And I just got mad. I got up and I walked out of the interview.
Well, Scotty, after this side, you won't have to worry about it anymore.
Because I'm tired of the abuse. I'm tired of Axis thinking they run things.
Well, after this Saturday, they won't be running nothing.
And also this Saturday, the Monsters of Mayhem and ICBB are going to be in singles action. Hammerjack is taking on Tom North, and Tim Jernigan is taking on Drake Cassidy. Also, the Tennessee All-Pro Southern Heavyweight Champion is going to be in action. Cal Redmond is going to be in a match with the champion, Corey Prince. Now, just like I said, Cal's been on the roll lately.
I'll be definitely watching that match.
I mean,
closely.
I'm going to have fun calling this one, because Cal Redmond is like a tennis ball bouncing all over the place. You can't really catch him. Corey Prince is technical. He may take him down, put him in the crossface, rip his arm out socket. Or
It could go either way.
Cal hit that
Or-
cow
Definitely
cutter.
or
a match that
Cal-
you're not going to want to blink during.
Cal could just hit the cow cutter out of nowhere.
1, 2, 3.
I mean,
A pin over the champ would be.
that would
motivating.
definitely boost him to the top of the rankings to maybe even make him a number 1 contender.
Very possible.
Now, we did have scheduled this coming Saturday. It was going to be State of Emergency taking on the Real Freaks. Now,
It's funny you should mention.
Draven, I don't know if any of the fans know this right now. Draven actually posted on his Facebook that his contract's terminated. He's no longer with Tennessee All Pro, and hey, we wish him the best in his future endeavors. I just WWE'd him, but what's this gonna do for the supposed to have a tag match this Saturday?
Well, it's the Real Freaks versus State of Emergency, and I guess if you'd like to go on the card and just scratch out the S at the end of Freaks, because there's still one true freak. There's one real freak left. And if I gotta go out there and tag with Scully, I'm taking on State of Emergency this Saturday. Because I'm not gonna let what Kilauea did to me a couple of months back and what him and Carnage did to me last week go unchecked. So if I have to go out there and fight them by myself in a handicap match, or even tag with Scully, I'm gonna be in that match this Saturday.
Well, you heard it from Robert Z. Real himself. He says he doesn't even really need a partner to take on State of Emergency. So if you want to see these two in action, you want to see all the stars of Tennessee All-Pro in action, be right here in the Victory Center at 5542 Manchester Highway, Saturday. Doors open at 7, bell time at 8, it's $6 to get in. Hey, like I always say, it's Tennessee All-Pro. Be there.